2, 1. What's up, everybody? We are here. We're live. Thanks, everybody, for being here right now. We're going to get this thing rolling because we're going to have some teaching today. We'll talk about some serious mind control business, and we're going to talk about some funny things that we saw in the media this week. Also, we got to talk about this Eagles win. You're watching YLTV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Yeah, that's right. It's Tuesday night, and we're here at True Sound Studios in Camden, New Jersey, a.k.a. The Office, a.k.a. The Lion's Den. And it's time to get started with the Young Lion TV podcast. We do this live every Tuesday night that we're around so that we can have these conversations and we can get you guys involved and talk about some real stuff and try to break some of this control that's going on all the people that we know. We want to thank everybody who's in the chat right now. Make sure you get involved and share this video, like it. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Let people know about it. And you can go on patreon.com/YoungLionTV and become a member on there and get some merch and get some cool stuff and sign up and get our music and all that good stuff. And then let's do the intros. We got my brother right here to my left, holding it down, Mr. Jake Evans III.
What's up? Well, how about you? You didn't introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, my name's Jamie. Yeah, I'll be your
narrator.
Yeah, I'll be your narrator for this evening.
Rocking the Sproles.
Yo, I
jersey.
never introduced myself.
Yeah, I just thought about that.
I never introduced myself. You're right. That's my bad. But no one cares about me anyway. Next we got Simone Chang holding it down right there.
What's up? What up?
And then last but not least, on the ones and twos, your setup just keeps getting more. Like, I feel like it's just more and more evolved. Like, it's just getting expansive.
You got to figure things out over time, right?
Yeah, right.
Your camera is not as focused as it could be. It's up to you whether or not.
Well, who did that? Whose job was that, huh?
I did,
should
but
change
when
that.
Simone was there, it was fine. So that means you moved from where he was, or
I didn't move anything.
Well, I mean, it just moved.
It caused an argument, but
I'll fix it real quick.
It's all right.
Jamie's just bigger than me, so
keep me out of focus. Hey, while he's fixing his camera, everybody, once again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. I see a bunch of people in the chat already. Lysandra, Ran, Ariana, what's up, everybody? Make sure you guys just give it a thumbs up and share the video on your pages or whatever. Just share this and say, hey, check this out. And if we can get the algorithm on our side and get people watching this, we can get the numbers up and have more people joining in on the conversation. That's what this is about.
and don't be afraid to ask questions, or if you don't agree with what we say, talk some shit.
Or if you want to chime in and you want to
better, yes, thank you.
Are we better now?
Yes.
People can see me now. I'm in focus. Gotta get focused, son.
I'm focused,
You know what I mean?
man.
Yeah, so if you have anything you want to add to the conversation, or if you have anything you want to check us on or debate about, put it in the chat, and we'll be glad to. Rachel is really good at looking stuff up, so we can when we're wrong, she'll find out really fast. So another great week in football, baby.
Yes, when Dallas loses,
The Eagles get a blowout against a whack Jets team, and Dallas loses to the team we just beat.
Yes.
That's a great week in football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Some stuff to clean up, though.
So of course,
offense is sputtering without
we need a receiver.
Yeah.
We need bless you.
God bless you.
We need a receiver. Wait, did I never said it was Rachel on the ones and twos. We never got there.
Did.
Did
Yes,
I?
you did,
did.
and then I started pointing out things that were wrong.
She just moved on. She didn't even
Oh.
care
I was
about
like,
her
hello,
intro.
there are problems.
Yeah.
I need-
We
You're
didn't
not
even
in
get to do
focus.
the-
Yeah, Rachel is always on her job. Yeah, man. We need a receiver
Yes.
and maybe possibly two.
I'll take 3.
Yeah, I know, right? I think
We were definitely missing the deep threat.
yeah.
That's an issue. But you see the pass interference though that they didn't call on Aggie.
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah.
That would
I saw that.
That would have hit him.
But I don't- I
That would
don't-
have been.
dude. I don't know if that was necessarily pass interference. Maybe it was illegal contact at the
It
most.
was illegal contact.
Illegal, but you can't challenge illegal contact.
Yeah, you can't.
So that's
But
why.
That's why. Yeah, but that would.
I think they would have.
been-
If you could challenge illegal contact, they would have gave it to him. But you can't challenge that. The challenge was specifically for pass interference, which they weren't going to give him that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were like 20 yards down, and he grabbed on him.
Yeah,
And
I
they
know.
don't
And
call.
he impeded his route to
Yeah.
get the bomb pass from
Yeah.
Carson Wentz. It was a little. The ball could have been thrown a little better though.
Yeah. I mean, we noticed that with Wentz.
Yeah.
He's not as accurate on the long ball as Folsey.
Can I just say how much I hate this challenging pass interference thing though?
It slows the game up, don't it?
I see why they did it because of the playoffs last year, but to me, it's just stupid. It's just
Yeah.
it's adding something to football that's not needed. It's annoying.
I think it would have been better if they can challenge or the booth upstairs, if they see something,
Yeah.
they can just,
That's what they should do.
you know what I mean? Like
if Booth sees something, just overturn the call.
yeah,
that's
involving the team, involving the
it.
coach.
Involving the
that-
challenge flag and all of that.
is
It's
stupid.
just it just slows the game down.
I agree with you.
It's just like they review everything under 2 minutes in the
Right.
first half and second half.
Or reviewing every touchdown.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
They
Like-
could easily do that with every call that's like questionable.
Right.
Just challenge it, look in the booth, or people in New York look,
Yeah.
and if they see something, then they make the call.
And they do that sometimes, though. You ever notice in the game, like they New York will say that's a flag or that's not a flag if they called a flag and they pick the flag back up.
right.
How I don't understand this involving teams. It's messing the game up.
It's almost like trying to make too many rules, too many like trying to make everybody happy all the time.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, like today.
yeah, it's kind of a parallel to
Kinda like today.
the world we live in at this point.
Yeah. But good win though. It was a good win. Defense, 10 sacks. When was the last time you seen the
10
Eagles
sacks,
get 10,
man.
10 sacks?
that's
crazy.
To me, that's a testament to how bad the Jets are, though.
Yeah, their
because they
offensive
only
line is
had
terrible.
3 sacks up to that point in what 4 games?
Yeah, yeah.
3 sacks
3
total
sacks
in
total.
4 games.
Brandon
Brandon Graham
Graham
gets
had
3
3
in one
himself.
game. And they get 10 sacks total as a team. Like everyone was getting sacks. I think the water boy came in there and got him a sack.
You get a
in the
sack.
sack. Yes, right.
get a sack.
Yeah, he came in there and was just I felt bad. Like that was the first time I was watching the game where I literally felt bad for the quarterback. Like
I did.
I was like, damn, this is not fair.
And Adam Gase, their head coach, he threw him under the bus, dude, because he gave Sam Darnold, their starter who has mono or whatever like that, first team reps. That's crucial.
Yeah.
Getting ready for a team. He gave him all week the starter, and then at game day he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be starting."
Yeah.
So he's not game ready,
Right.
Yeah.
and it showed.
Can we also talk about how the Jets used to be Moan's team for the longest,
I
and
love
he
the
totally
Jets.
abandoned them. Like when did that,
That was
happen?
his second team.
There was a second team, but he was hard for like he was buying jerseys
That
and
was
everything.
your
Like
Yeah.
AFC team, right?
Yeah.
so, what happened?
What Rex Ryan, and couldn't stand Rex Ryan, and I hated Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, but you always the type like, yo, when I got my team, it don't matter. I ride with my team. Blah blah blah.
but
That's because it's not the Eagles. Like,
it was. I just loved the players. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Curtis Martin. He was a stand-up guy. Like
So you was a flimsy fan, is what you saying?
No.
You was
no.
a flimsy
He was a
Jets
flam.
fan. Flim flam.
No, Curtis Martin, Wayne Kerbeck, I don't know. I connected with them dudes. Like they were.
Okay.
He was
they
a
were-
fan of the players, and like
I connect with players too, but I don't rep the team because I connect with the players.
mean-
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
Hey, I like Arsenal because of the play and the team, and
Yeah, but
but
that's different.
but you know, I like Barcelona though. Like
Right.
that's my
Just like
team.
my Eagles, that was always my team.
There's a difference though because both of those teams are in Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you were, if soccer was what football is here, and you were a Philadelphia Soul fan or whatever.
Yeah, but he's an Eagles fan though.
No, I'm saying. But then you have another. You claim another team, also.
Yeah.
You know, in the.
You can like other teams. I don't know. When I remember.
I mean, I
baseball-
have admiration for other teams
Yeah.
and players, but
Yeah.
I never would like rep them, like get their jersey or like just because
This,
it's like
this sounds like an opinion.
it just
I would.
I mean, I guess you could,
Like,
but
I would get-
I'm just talking about Moan used to like that was you know how Stiz has the Giants and the Bills. Those are his
Yeah.
teams. He has
Yeah.
he always when they play each other, he doesn't care who wins.
Right.
Moan was like that with the Jets and the Eagles.
No.
No,
No. He
No.
never was.
No, you
No.
weren't.
No,
He always Eagles was his
Eagles.
team.
Eagles is number one.
So
Eagles
if the
is-
Jets were playing, I remember you was repping them both. Maybe because the Jets were winning a little bit more back then, so it was easier.
no,
to
they
rep
weren't
them.
winning.
When they had Curtis Martin,
They were terrible.
they were in the
dude.
playoffs.
Maybe like one or 2 years, but they
No,
were.
I
they-
know what ruined it for Moan. Sanchez.
That's what I
Sanchez
said. That's what I
ruined it.
said. That's,
But once that butt fumble happened, he was done.
no, it was even before that.
When he got scared, when they threw him out in the Wildcat, was he on? Remember?
It was when he was posing on GQ and he was smelling himself, and I can't stand Rex Ryan, yo. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, his just attitude. I didn't like but I did like the Jets though.
So
Vinny
what if
Testaverde.
what if the Eagles brought in Chip Kelly, right? And that
You see how that's different though? That's my team. I didn't abandon them, even though they were terrible, and I hated Chip Kelly after
Right.
the first year.
yeah.
They're still
You hated
my.
Chip Kelly as a coach.
They're still my team. Unlike Stan, who
Abandoned
they
them.
they traded
They
traded
traded
Brian
Brian
Dawkins, his favorite player. He
Stan's
abandoned
watching
them.
right now. Stan, he's going in on you with your traitorous ways against the Eagles. Please chime
Traitor,
in. Please
traitor,
chime in.
and went to the Giants.
Yeah, he went to the. I remember why he went to the Giants. From my recollection, I
What-
remember
what?
it was just because like he loved Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah, that's right. He used to play. He used to play with
He used
Jeremy
to play with
Shockey on
he used to play
on Madden.
with the Giants on Madden, and he would just throw bombs to Jeremy Shockey the whole time because they made him like
Oh,
this
yeah.
unbelievable like superhuman character as a tight end. He was like faster than everyone, which made no sense.
I do remember using the line like, "Yo, Jeremy Shockey left already, bro.
Yeah.
You might as well come home."
Stan just said wrong.
He said wrong. Okay, so correct us.
Correct us, Stan.
Because I remember.
I don't know if that's because we're on the Jatan. You're on the young.
Yeah, I see him on there. Yeah, he said wrong, but that's what I remember. I remember Madden, and that was what was that Madden 2004 with Michael Vick on the cover.
Yeah.
That was the one we used to
Was it
play.
2004? You're right, 2004.
2004. This is when he was still in Atlanta. I remember we used to play that at the office on our downtime. We would have huge Madden battles, and he would constantly pick. They would always play with Tampa Bay
Bucks, the
because they
Bucks,
had
yeah.
just won the Super Bowl, so he would only play with them. And
I played with Atlanta a lot
yeah, Atlanta Eagles.
because
Yeah.
of Vic. Man, Vic was amazing.
He was way too fast in that game. Yo, but the Madden curse though is crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
Guess who was on the Madden cover for 2019? Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. But
Oh,
didn't
wow.
they have two people on the cover?
No,
Wasn't Mahomes on the cover too?
not the. I have it on Xbox. It's just him.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's not like that for FIFA.
No.
No, players that are on.
People bring it to life,
But
yo.
they always talk about it. Like when McNabb was on it, the next year he had a terrible year.
Yeah.
He got injured. Same thing with Vic.
Yeah.
Like it's been crazy that people talk about the Madden curse.
There's got to be something, a video or something on that.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's crazy.
But it seems like every time someone is on the cover, then they have to do. They had the great rookie season from the Titans, and then he just like kind of fell apart.
Mariota.
No, before that, the quarterback.
Who? Jake Locker?
No. Black dude.
McNair? Steve McNair?
No. Before that.
Before
Vince Young.
Vince Young.
Yes.
You're right.
Remember he was on the cover one year too, and then his next year was terrible after that.
Yeah. He had like bipolar.
But remember his rookie year?
Yeah, didn't he have rookie of the year?
He broke like all these records.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had rookie of the year, everything.
People come in the league, they just like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
He was rookie,
same thing.
Rookie of the year.
Same thing. But Cam is still doing his thing though.
His team's been winning without him, bro.
Eh,
Yeah, they have.
They
won like 4 straight
did.
games without him.
they did.
Or 3 straight games.
3.
With the McCaffrey, man. I was wrong about that dude. The running back.
A lot of people were.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be that good, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
That dude is good. He's a reason why they're winning.
Yep.
And Cam Newton, not James is watching. Cam Newton's not on the field. That's why they're
So Stan said, what did he say here? Buffalo has always been my team. Okay, I don't remember that. Smith from Buffalo, Taylor from the Giants inspired playing the DE position. I can never understand what's
Buffalo's always been his dad's team.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's why he likes Buffalo. Just like my dad likes Buffalo too.
Taylor from Giants inspired playing the DE position I played. Influence from John and his pop. Growing up, going to his house is a Giants house. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you was an Eagles fan.
Right. So what you're saying is you let your friend tell you who to be a fan of. So how do you feel about the Giants now?
Danny Dimes, how you feel about Danny Two Nickels?
Yeah. All right, that's enough football talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to move over a little bit, Jake.
Scooch in.
Okay.
Am I good?
I'm like, do you want me to?
You can see, you guys can
No,
see
no.
yourself right there, and you can kind of see what your framing looks like.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, I couldn't.
Simone, move over.
This way?
Yeah.
There we go.
No, you gotta move over more, buddy.
This way? I can't.
I can't take it. That way.
Oh, this way.
Are you looking at the screen? You can come back a little bit more. Just a little bit.
Rach is pushing me now.
All right. So,
Pushing me.
What are we talking about besides football today, guys?
Well, I wanted to talk about how apparently obesity is racist. I want to get everybody's opinion on a little thing that I saw on the internet that had me rolling.
Okay.
Let's see if Rachel can play that real quick. And I want everyone in the chat to chime in on this if
Please.
you think weight gain is racist, because everything's racist at this point in our lives.
It's the second video here, the very obvious one, right?
Yes.
Because you have a few. Okay.
Yeah, and it has lots of emojis.
Got
and
Why is it obvious?
It's got,
Rach?
it's got hamburgers on it.
It talks about it, but I didn't know if there was a order to the
Yeah.
videos.
No,
or
it's that
whatever.
one.
Just ask.
Yeah. I just decided to start with this.
Okay.
When people talk about black women being obese, I hate it because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We're moving, we're taking care of kids, but our food quality suffers. We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. You can't get access to good health care, good insurance. The research says that black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower, even when we're following the diet, than our white women counterparts. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Wow. Okay.
Yo.
I can see it's not that far of a stretch in terms of what I get, like the stress, but stress.
The
like,
stress of being oppressed racially makes diets not work for you?
I'm not saying.
What?
I'm not saying.
Yo, we have completely lost it.
What I'm saying is that cortisol is a big thing in terms of hormones and with, weight loss.
Yeah.
And hormone distribution. So like it plays a part. And if you are highly stressed, your cortisol levels are bad. And if you deal with anxiety, you know what I mean, it can affect you. Now, I'm not saying that I'm saying that they can feed into that.
Right.
And it can become a problem, but it's all about how you perceive it,
Yeah. It's all about how you perceive it. Because, I'm pretty sure she
ain't sticking on no diet.
You know what's funny is, she said, we're living in the Trump era, and everyone goes, and it's like, I'm pretty sure you were that big in the Obama era. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And it's it just sounds like all of the big women in the audience are just agreeing with her. Yep, see, that's why I don't lose no weight. That's why I don't even go to the gym. You know what I mean? It's yo, are you really trying to make that excuse? You really trying to tell yourself that
but it's just a way to be okay with your reality. You know what I mean?
It's all excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But so you don't think there's any truth to the fact that living in a racist society could make you more obese?
We don't live in a racist society.
It's a joke. This is ridiculous.
Dude, they don't think it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
they're cheering and clapping.
I don't get it. Would y'all consider my wife black?
She's under the black. She's under the black umbrella.
Okay. Yeah. When she was doing keto, and she was on it for probably a couple months, you saw results.
Yeah.
So it worked.
Right.
The diet worked when she stuck on it. But when she went off of it,
right,
and just ate whatever,
I would love to see the study that she's talking about where she said that diets don't work the same for black women that work the same for white women. What?
Yeah.
I don't think it was probably worded like that. And if it is,
that's what she said.
I mean, you can always play with a study to make the outcome be what you want it to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what the whole cigarette industry did.
Right. But I just because people we watch a lot of stuff about health and losing weight and sports science and stuff like that. And I have never heard them break it down racially.
With race.
You know what I'm saying? Talking about even for people that train for fighting and sports and stuff like that, they never say, well, this is the regimen for the black athletes because their body responds differently because of racism and oppression and blah blah blah. They have more,
anxiety.
Yeah. And white people, this is the factors. Okay, what do we have here, Rach? That is way too small, so you're gonna have to read it.
MedicineNet.com.
MedicineNet.com.
Black women lose less weight than white women on same diet. As from 2013.
I would love to see how much did they actually follow the diet though? It's it's just saying they were on the same diet. You know what I mean?
Because people really don't know how to stick with stuff.
How many times have we been talking to people that say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing keto too,"
yeah,
and they're like,
"What you eat?
You haven't
General Tso?
Well, you can eat whipped cream with sugar in it."
Dude,
yeah. You know,
I know so many people that straight up they want to find out how to manipulate the system.
Right.
That's always
so it's
the idea.
If the study is saying
if
if they're just generalizing oh, you guys are both on the keto diet and you lost more weight than them, and so then it must be because they're black and you're not. You know what I mean? That's idiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I can say cortisol does play a role. So, but it's not.
But why would cortisol only affect black women though?
No. What I'm saying is they can use that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they can use that to say, well,
you found something.
This you have to go and correlate all this stuff with this study, but they're saying that this study, like they're trying to break it down to, like a reason for the differences are like also like genetically based. So, like Eastern European descendants and people from Africa that are eating American English food,
Right.
it's not being processed. Basically, like white people have a better processing system
For
for
burgers.
American food than anyone else.
Yo,
Like
stop.
they're really like
White people can eat McDonald's and
genetically.
yeah.
There's differences.
Yo, stop shoving McDonald's in your face. Period.
Yeah.
And you'll lose weight. I guarantee you, if you stop eating cookies and brownies and McDonald's and you will lose weight. Cut sugar out. Do some exercising. You will lose weight.
Yeah.
Like it's not rocket science.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I agree, bro. I mean,
they it's like people do these studies just to put someone in that place to have an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like why even go into that? Like, oh, European food is not come on, man. That makes no sense. What is European food?
exactly.
What is European food?
Do they specify exactly what?
Not in this article, which is not the whole in-depth picture. I'm trying to find a link back to the study, and it's not easily accessible.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
If
it
you
sounds
just-
like
if
some
you just
bullshit.
know what goes into the food,
Bro,
like
this is
sugars
what
and
this is what I'm
sauces
saying. Like, so what you telling me? Potatoes? Black people can't process potatoes? Fucking beets and shit? Like
the
carrots?
majority of black people in this country have been here for like 200 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Plus, so.
Plus, most of the stuff that we eat here is not indigenous to this area. It's all brought from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Like all of the stuff that we have,
Mexico,
Yeah.
avocados, all and shit.
just apples. Apples don't come from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like most of the
Bananas.
stuff. Yeah, bananas. Everything
Yeah.
that we have really don't come from here. They brought it here and planted it. It's just
I think this is the study, so I'm going to send it to
Here we
each and
go.
every one of you, and you can read it at your leisure
Okay.
whenever you like.
I would love to read
Yeah.
this
But
because that
I
was
can't see that at all.
hilarious.
At all.
And it's like, yo, you're just looking for excuses.
I mean, when you bringing up Trump, like,
Trump is why I'm fat.
Yeah, we can't get good health care.
Yo, can you
You want
imagine?
to thank Obama for that?
Can you imagine if big white women were saying Obama's why I'm fat?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine?
That's racist.
Yeah.
dude, it's horrible.
Yo, it's crazy. People are like seriously falling for this stuff. We're gonna talk about like that whole concept though. Jake brought this up. We were watching this video about like the origins of the Illuminati and like just like the subversion of nations and just the mentality of people and how you get control over a nation, how you get people to think monolithically. Or I saw this cartoonist made a meme. I couldn't find it. I was trying to find it to put it up in the thing to talk about this, but it was like the concept of getting everyone to believe that they have a choice when you look at it like politically or even like religiously, anything in life. It's like, okay, Republican, Democrat, and then it's all broken down into conservative, far right, alt right, left, you know what I mean? And there's all of these choices. And those are all like these doorways that people are going into. Yeah. And they go into these doorways and it leads in these long tunnels. Like they're making their choice of this is the path I'm choosing, right? And it's all in these long tunnels. And then by the end of it, they all end up in the same cage. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's the illusion of you're choosing your path based off of an ideology that's been given to you. You know what I mean? Because it's something that you connect with, but it's all just a method of controlling you in the end anyway. So it's like, yeah, we can give you the idea that, oh, Republican is better than Democrat. Well, at the end of the day, they don't care because none of that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you look at it, like, everybody just wants to be the one who knows
Right.
more than somebody else.
Right.
A lot of times, like, you know, I mean, especially in the get, like, you ain't up on this. You know what I mean? That mentality of where it's like,
I put you on.
yeah, I know more than you, so listen to me, type thing. But you see, like, from the beginning, in the garden,
Right.
you know, the tree.
We were talking about this earlier. That's like the first known moment of manipulation and subversion.
And dissension.
To like undermine truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And get control of people's, way of life. That was the first known moment of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you have like, they're in Adam and Eve in the garden. They got the tree. He's got the tree of life. He's got the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Right.
And he's like, don't eat of the.
Well, first set it up. I mean, they have a paradise.
Yeah.
Right. They have a straight on full connection with God. They're so like secure and so one with everything that they don't even need clothing. They don't need any of that.
Right.
They're just living complete freedom that we don't understand. We can't even comprehend that level of freedom.
In the presence of God.
Right.
Like,
right.
Mm-hmm.
so he says, don't eat this fruit.
Right.
That's the only thing.
Right.
Or you'll die.
Yeah.
You'll surely die.
Yeah.
And he always puts a choice there.
Right.
Because
it's
he
free
wants
will at
you
the end of the
to
day.
trust in him.
Right.
That's the key is trust in him.
Right.
And what the devil has done throughout time, or, the enemy, the serpent, is always get you to descend from that trust just a little bit.
Well, he tries to offer you another choice. Right.
Well, it's just a dissension because it's like, you won't die.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And what you'll get is some wisdom.
Not only will you not die, you'll be just like God.
Yeah.
And that's what he doesn't want. He doesn't want you to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was the start of that little dissension that comes in where you don't trust him and you feel like you can take matters into your own hands,
right,
so to speak. You know what I mean? And that's been throughout history. Like you have Israel, who was set up to be a set apart nation for God to cover the other nations who went after other gods, right?
Right.
But even in Israel, you had what came out of that a little bit before Jesus came, Kabbalah.
Right.
And Kabbalah is the mysticism of Hebraic. It's this mystic.
Right. It's like the hidden knowledge.
Right.
It's
always the hidden thing that you can find that's going to bring enlightenment.
Well, that's what the eating of the fruit was supposed to, be that. That's what the serpent presented that choice to them. Like, well, you can receive this hidden knowledge if you eat of it that is going to make you like God. Yeah. And people have been constantly chasing that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And like even in Kabbalah, they have, the Sephirot and what is in the Sephirot, it's the tree of life. Mm-hmm. So they changed it, right? Put in this tree of life, and you got these Sephirot, and these things are the things that you got to obtain, right, to get to God.
Which is very similar to the chakra system,
right? So it's like it's another way in,
right?
But it's not really.
It's the Tower of Babel approach,
right? Exactly.
You just see it constantly occurring throughout history, throughout the Bible.
Because the Tower of Babel is the same thing,
right?
How do we be like God?
How do we dethrone God, basically?
And that was the same idea Satan had,
right?
He fell from heaven. Why? Because he looked at himself. So he's trying to always get us to look at ourselves,
right,
and focus on ourselves, so that we can try to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And you see that throughout the world, and a lot of the subjugation of like even the Jews, like in different countries, because of the stuff that happened in different countries, especially Germany. It's crazy how so much stuff came out of Germany.
I know.
We were talking about that, like,
yeah.
You had, the Rothschilds, you had Adam Weizsäcker, I think that's his name, who started the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Um,
Started the whole Bavarian Illuminati
Yeah.
thing,
and
which is what's referenced on the dollar bill. Speak about the Rothschild story, though, for those that don't know that might be watching this, like to make some sense out of that and like why you bring that up.
yeah. Well, Rothschild. I'm trying to think of Mayer Rothschild was the one who kind of started,
Right.
became wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
but he came from the ghetto, and he didn't even want to. At that time, Jews had to stand aside, like
Right.
if in Germany, like if
They were
regular,
like second
I guess,
class
Gentiles-
citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to stand to the side. So he wanted to never feel that way again. He wanted to get power. So he started to. I think his father was the one who started the lending.
His father realized that he could attain wealth through lending money.
Right.
Yeah.
So he started lending money, and then Mayer Rothschild, who at the time was Bauer, and he changed his name to Rothschild because it means red shield, which was
that was the symbol
of
that
their store.
their dad used to use above
Right.
the door. Yeah.
And they were Jewish, but they weren't like practicing Jews. Right. They were
Right.
just like Jewish by
Heritage.
yeah. But so he perfected this whole lending thing, and at that time, no Gentiles. They weren't allowed to do that because in the Bible you're not supposed to lend, and
Right.
so they didn't partake in usury, which is what it was called. So he had the idea of lending to nations, especially for wars,
Right.
and he perfected that. And then he had, I think it was 5 sons,
Yeah.
and he became rich. He became wealthy. Changed his name to Rothschild, Red Shield, and then he sent his sons to different parts of the world in
To
Europe.
set up banks.
Right.
Right.
To do the same thing that he did,
Right.
but in those areas. So
because he
London-
realized that like just lending money to individuals was a small sum game. He realized he could get mega rich if he lent money to whole countries.
right,
And then the concept of just having people indebted to you makes you endlessly rich.
hmm
So he started using his sons to go to other countries to set up those same type of banking systems so that now they could move money back and forth between countries and
Right.
set up this centralized banking system, which is the basis of what we use now.
right. So he did it. One of the crazy stories was what he did in London.
Right.
Nathan Rothschild.
Right.
He went. Basically, they took over the Bank of, what is it? The Bank of London, which their centralized bank, and it happened through the Napoleon War that England had, and he sent he had a messenger. His messenger said that they were
Yeah,
that
well,
they
back
were
in those days, they used to have to send,
messengers.
they would send the guy on the horse that would come back and tell them, give them the status of the war, what's
Right.
happening, so that they could, plan accordingly. And a lot of times their economy, was at risk. If they were going to lose the war or win the war, it changed everything in the country. So they
Yeah.
needed to know what was happening. Napoleon was like taking over everybody. So they were in this big battle. So Nathan Rothschild had his own messenger secretly go and check on the war too. He's a rich dude. So the dude comes back and tells him that Napoleon's about to lose, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But he's like, man, I can't tell them this.
Yeah.
He's
So
like,
he
I
goes-
can use this, to
Yeah.
my advantage. Yeah.
So he sends word to England and says that they're losing,
Right.
and then he starts selling everything.
No, he doesn't send word to England. He just starts selling all his stock, and other people start saying like,
Oh,
"Oh, he
okay.
knows something."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
He starts selling everything.
Yeah.
Selling all his assets.
So
all
then
his
they
stock.
start
So
selling
everyone
everything.
starts selling So the economy tanks.
Right, and then right at the end when it
Right
dropped
before
down,
the real messenger comes back, he buys everything
Yeah.
at the pennies on the dollar.
That's where Soros got it.
It's the same thing that George
Right.
Soros does now, and people don't understand that when you talk about the way they can subvert a whole economy based off of like disinformation, causing hysteria. You know, same
Yes.
thing they're doing now, just dividing everybody, getting everyone hyped up over all of this stuff.
So in that way, he took over the Bank of England,
Right.
and then or the Bank of London, whatever it's called. And then they orchestrated a plan that we talked about this before in the early 1900s to start a centralized bank in America, because a lot of people didn't want it because they knew what
Right.
it was. But
A lot of the early presidents were like completely against it.
right, but they finagled and got their way, and that was a direct cause of the Great Depression.
Right.
So there's a lot that has happened throughout the years. There's countries that have been destroyed, devastated, because of elite people. Because it's not just Rothschilds. You know, you have the Rockefellers. There's like 13 families.
Yeah. They set up all of these organizations to basically coordinate a lot of things, which is
Right.
like Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberger Group, all these things that you hear people talk about all the time, and they're attached to like, oh, that's conspiracy, tinfoil hat stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, like of course there is a lot of like, you can go down rabbit holes on YouTube
Right.
watching music videos about Illuminati members, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
see, the goat means that there's like, that's all the noise.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you have
I
to.
mean, there's some truth to, like, you know, Baphomet.
Yeah, there's truth to that, absolutely. But I think that Lady Gaga, you know, having a goat head above her bed in the video where she's singing about, you know, paparazzi, like all of that is noise, and it's to get people to be focused on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's still hypnotizing.
It is.
you know.
It is.
There's a Baphomet today. Did you hear about that in Detroit? They
I
I
feel
think
like
it was like last year.
I feel like
They
did like a ritual.
yeah
ceremony.
Well, they have a statue of
Yeah.
Baphomet.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me too, because it's like, you can't have, like, if you put up a statue of like Jesus, or
Dude, that
something,
dude
like,
from
in
the
a
NFL
public area.
Did you hear about the dude from the NFL? What team was it? Damn, what team was that? I can't remember. See if you can find this, Rage. He just got fined or he got suspended for wearing a bandana that said God's son or something about God.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, his T-shirt or
Man of God. It said Man of God.
yeah, he got fined for that.
He got. Oh, was it a fine? Yeah, he got fined for that, just for wearing that. What was it, at the game or something?
Yeah, during the game.
Yeah.
They don't
Yes,
let you-
It's funny because you can't do stuff like that, but then you can erect a Baphomet statue and like do this whole ritual. It's like, yeah.
Is this it? Is this
Yeah,
it?
I think that is it.
Let me see. Show it to me. I want to see that. Oh yeah, that's the traditional one too,
Yeah.
from all the drawings.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Did they say why they put that up?
Somehow they got it approved.
2015 public unveiling.
Oh, 2015. Okay. I mean, but
Oh, it's at a satanic temple.
oh, okay.
7,000 he got fined.
He got fined $7,000.
Damn, 7,000.
What team was it again?
They look like the Saints colors.
Oh, it
Yep,
was the Saints.
Saints.
It was the Saints. How ironic, right?
Right.
A team that's named after the Catholic religion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he can't. So the team can be the Saints, but he can't have
can't
a
have a
bandana
man
that
of
says
God.
"Man of God."
Yeah.
That's so retarded.
Isn't it?
It's like, yo, what? Yo, that's crazy. The New Orleans Saints can be the Saints.
But he can't wear something that says man of God.
Right. It's crazy. It's just like watching everything. They're trying to like take it all away. Like no one can be exposed to God. I'm surprised they didn't change the city of Los Angeles to something else. You know what I mean? Like can't be called. You know what I mean?
They probably don't
It's
even.
so progressive.
Dude,
They're
you can
like,
call it angels because that don't matter.
well,
Angels
I
is
don't
a
know.
whole other thing.
It might be offensive to call it the city of angels now. It might have to be
Angeles.
the
They
city-
probably don't even put two and two together.
the city of non-religious beings. Yo, it's crazy.
No, but back to this. So yeah, you have there are certain elites that they try to control things. They try to bring about their own circumstances. And
Yeah.
they do it through manipulation. And even if you look like Jamie was talking about, conservative and all those different
Yeah.
avenues, right?
Labeling.
wing,
Identities.
left wing,
Yeah.
all those different identities.
Identities is the thing.
Right? And they should be called comforts, right?
Right.
Because if I just say like, and I look at somebody and like, oh, you're this and I'm this and
yeah.
so we're good.
Right.
Like I don't have to worry about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm comfortable now.
Right.
And that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because then that's how they infiltrate. And not only that, they give you the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
They get into religious groups.
Right.
Be it in the Catholic Church, Jesuits,
All the churches.
yeah, all the churches, they
Yeah.
infiltrate.
Yeah.
And it's all about it's so you have religion, right? Or I should say like a spirit of religion, which hates the things of God, hates freedom, real
Right.
freedom,
Right.
right? And then you have the spirit of depravity that tries to look like freedom, but actually hates any kind of order. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you have like these two things that they're both not God, but they're both warring against each other because you have the spirit of religion
Which is control.
that wants to control
Right.
you, wants to subjugate you to it, because that's where like if a person feels like they have their identity through controlling somebody else, right? But it kills the word. It kills. So you have the word, like you can read the Bible,
Right.
but get nothing from it, right? And the spirit of religion, what it can do is subjugate you to that. So you can be a conservative. You can be a conservative to this Bible, but it's going to be dead to you if it's not raised up by God. The spirit of God, the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of might, all these things,
Right.
which is the Holy Spirit that comes from Jesus. So if we don't have that, then we're going to follow after false order, right? But then that's going to weary us out. That's going to make us tired. We're not going to be able to live up to it.
Right.
And people are going to see this, so they're going to descend from it because they want to be free.
Mhm.
They want to be, they don't want to be so burdened
Right.
with this, right? So that leads to this depravity, which it's a little bit, then a little bit, and
Right.
all it takes is like take abortion. Like, well, you shouldn't kill babies, right?
Right.
Then it's like, well, what if somebody gets raped?
Right.
I guess that makes sense. We'll lean a little bit more this way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, what if somebody gets raped? What if they have a baby and it's going to kill them?
Right.
Well, okay, we'll accept that too. And it just goes more
Right.
and more and more and more. And that's what they call like the Hegelian dialectic,
Right.
which is something that is similar to the Marxist dialectic.
Well, first break down what the Hegelian dialectic is. Like, what's
So
that concept?
I put a picture up, if you want to put that up for me. Rach. Wish I could see it. So let me try to pull it up. So I can see it.
Hegelian dialectic.
So it's showing you the path of how you get your agenda
Right.
across.
So your agenda.
Where
what
does this
you
come
wanna
from,
do-
first of all?
this comes from Hegel. He was a philosopher in the I guess the early 1800s.
Right. German.
He was German, yeah. And a lot of these guys are German. And he was deep into philosophy. Like, you read his books, and they're very hard to understand.
But wasn't he also into occult and
No. I think he was more religious than anything else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He definitely...
like Catholicism?
I don't know. You can't quote... I think at that time they were more Lutheran because it's Germany. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, because it was the 1800s. So
Right.
it definitely wasn't
Yeah,
Catholic.
definitely not.
How come a lot of them were German, man?
I don't know, man. They were tapping into some stuff during that era. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? From like the mid 1800s through the mid 1900s.
Yeah.
You look at Hitler and everything he was into too. you
Yeah,
know.
but even like Marx came right after
Yeah,
that.
Marx was
Karl
from there.
Marx. Yeah, so you have the agenda, right? And then which the agenda is what the power, the strength, or the people who have the rule,
Right.
they put on the people.
Right.
And that's the thesis, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they give you the thesis, but then they also bring in the antithesis.
Or antithesis.
Antithesis,
Right.
right? Which here it says the thesis is manufactured terrorist threats, but it can be a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
Like, you can look at the thesis as like the truth, like
Right.
what you think. You can look at it as conservatism,
Mhm.
right? This is the thesis, and then the antithesis is liberalism,
Mhm.
or you could say like far left.
Far left.
you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would say far left.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't even say liberalism because it's literally the contradiction. So it's like, well, this.
Right.
It's dissent.
Right.
You know, like I was saying in the beginning, like in the garden.
Right.
So the point is, it's all by the work of our hand,
Mhm.
right? It's literally by what we do, and we're not tapping into who God is. There's no relationship, because we're being told who we are,
Mhm.
right? And then we're accepting that identity, and that's what happens every time. And then we don't want to accept that identity because it becomes too burdensome to us. So then we want something else. So then we go out and we try to bring justice in ourselves.
Mhm.
That's the antithesis. And then what happens from that is the synthesis, right? And that's when the two kind of become one
Right.
in a way. And that's the outcome that the powers that be want. So they're always keeping you in this place of fighting, continual fighting, never really coming to the truth of anything.
Right.
You know, you're always stuck under the fight, and when you're a victim, you're never going to be able to see it. And
Right.
that's the problem. Like with the victim mentality, is you're always going to be looking at the oppressor, but you don't see past it.
Right.
And because that's the difference, like between like any other religion and like Jesus, is that with him, he is the solution, right? So we have hope in him, right? We see past our oppression. We see past anything that has happened to us.
Right.
There's still hope in him, right? There's still power. There's something.
But wait. Don't just gloss over that.
Okay.
Because you're just saying words to people
Okay.
that don't get it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying
yeah. So-
we
All
have
right, so-
faith in him. We have hope in him. Like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? How? How do you have faith in like how does Jesus become the answer to rising above the noise of the control of this Hegelian dialectic mentality that we're all being subverted by on a daily basis? Like, how does Jesus become the answer to that?
Yeah, so bottom line, it's love, but how? In what way?
Right. Again, it's just words.
Yeah. But that's the point. So like so people always say, like, if I say, well, do you know Jesus died for your sins?
Right.
That becomes, okay, I've heard that 1,000
Yeah.
times. And what?
Right.
But when you truly want to seek that out, like, and understand what that means. Well, maybe there's something to this.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? When you want to seek that out, now, Jesus said, "Seek the truth, and the truth will set you free."
Mhm.
So His truth supersedes all that. And this is the time of Yom Kippur. All right, and Yom Kippur is a Jewish holiday, or Jewish moed, or time. It's a special time, and this is the one time out of all the 7 times that they would fast and afflict themselves.
Right. So there's 7 appointed times in the Jewish tradition by
Right.
God to
This is the
reflect
6th one,
Right. This is
but
the
it's
6th
the
one.
only one where they like actually like reflect and
Fast.
seek God and
Right.
fast to go deep with Him, right?
Right.
And if you look, so many people, they don't want to go deep ever.
Right.
They want to be surface.
Mhm.
They want to, let me watch TV.
Right.
I don't want to feel anything.
Right.
But God's in those places, and He takes you to those places. That's why He makes you seek Him. You got to get past all this stuff that's in your way and go deeper with Him. So Yom Kippur is one of those times, and it's funny we're talking about this. But so anyway, this was the high priest. Once a year, he would go into this place called the temple or the tabernacle, and there were 3 parts of it. There was the place where you do the offering. Then you had the holy place where you had the showbread and the lampstand, which was the 7 lights or the 7 spirits of God, that had the incense, and then behind that there was something that divided that, and it was the Holy of Holies behind that, and that's where I know probably people have heard of the Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And again, I'm saying all this stuff and it's hard to understand it all, but I can't go through. I will be here all
Right.
day if I try to explain.
That's what I'm
all.
saying. Don't explain it. Just get to the point. Like,
No, but there's a point to it,
Right.
because once a year they would put the blood. They would go into this place. They
Right.
couldn't go in there, but once a year,
right.
on this mercy seat, which
Right.
is the Ark of the Covenant,
Mhm.
right? And it represents. This was the place. Once they did that, the presence of God would come in, and it was literally representing the throne of God, and everything in there represented what was that whole tabernacle represented what was in heaven, right? So it represents the seat of God or the throne of God in heaven.
Right.
So Jesus literally became that high priest. He was sacrificed, and his blood, that's why people say like the power is in his blood, right? His blood was put on that mercy seat, put on the throne, his life, right? So that life was poured out for us so that we could have access back to the throne of God, where we were cut off from by what we were talking about in the beginning,
Mhm.
Adam and Eve, by
Right.
our own sin,
Mhm.
where we couldn't get there anymore because we descended, because we didn't trust him. We didn't trust the Father. So now the Father wanted to make a way back to him. That's why he sent Jesus. And so to make a way back to him, Jesus had to do what he had to do. He had to suffer,
Right.
right? And go through something that he didn't want to go, because he didn't want to go through it, but he went through it because of the love of the Father, that he loved us with that same love, and that's the love that sets us free. So then we have access into all the power, to his storehouse, his treasury. So we're talking about people who have power over us through money, right? But the treasury in heaven is what we have access to, but you can't have access to it. And this is the religion part, right? How many people have been to churches where it's like you got to pay your tithes? You got to pay your 10% of your tithes, right? So that's how they'll get you. They'll read the Bible and they'll use it against you, so that they can subjugate you to it to fatten their pockets for their own good.
Well, isn't that the same exact thing that we're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. But not only that, and people will do it because of their hearts,
Mhm.
because they're trying to manipulate the system anyway.
Right.
So like these kings, these people who are in these places of authority, they're only if you don't allow them to, they can't manipulate you. It's that you allow them to manipulate you because you won't do it seek out for yourself the truth. So then they can manipulate you and keep you in this cycle that you're going through and you feel like there's no end to. Right? But the funny thing is, in heaven, there's anything that these people can do, God can do greater. But you won't have access to it until you trust him, right? Until you have faith. So, and to have faith is to endure. It's to trust. So like literally you're looking at all your circumstances and you're like coming to your end. You're depleting what you have. Mm-hmm. But yet you got to continue to believe. Mm-hmm. You know, most people don't want to do that. The majority of people, that they want some magic. Well, if I do this, this, and this, then it's going to happen for me. That's not who God is, and you'll never get to him that way. It's literally through suffering, just like Jesus suffered, right? So when you receive him through faith and you access what he had, what he did through faith, because I have hope, because I have his love, because I see that he gave me access back to what I didn't have. Right now I can work in that, but it's not going to come when I think it's going to come. Right. But that's the thing that perfects me and matures me into being able to stand in all these issues that are happening around me. Right. That before I would fall for every time, fall for every time. And then once I can't take no more, I'm back in it. You know, but now he's changing it if I stay in faith and continue. And that's the only thing that's gonna, like, my point is, you can complain all day and talk about the Rothschilds and the Bilderberger group and, you know, the Rockefellers, all these things, and the Illuminati.
Right.
We can talk about that stuff all day. But if you believe in God, if you believe in Jesus, and you're just talking about this and you're not walking through faith, then nothing's going to happen for you. You're not going to gain anything. You're just going to keep on going through it, and you're just going to complain about what's going on and happening to you. And that's being a victim.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we don't overcome I can't say, well, I don't like victims, so I'm not going to be a victim. Right. You're still going to be a victim. You're just not trying to see that you're a victim now. Right. The only way you can overcome it is if you accept what he's done for your life. That throne, that's where your justice comes from. And we have access to it. But if we don't believe it, we won't go to it. So we won't receive it. Right? And just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You know, like a seed in the ground. You can you plant it, you water it, but it takes time to come up. You don't know when it's going to come up. What's it say? It's God who brings the increase, right? It's God who brings it, increases. First, it's got to grow. It's got to come out of the ground. Then it's got to grow into a tree. Then it's got to produce fruit. That takes time. You know, and people, especially in our day and age, like, we want it now. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's the quick thing? You know, and we talk about it with the music industry, how long we had to learn to stop trying to look for the magic door. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That we thought was there. Right. You know, and start trusting in God. And it was like going through that cycle of learning, because every time a situation presented itself, it was bullshit. Mm-hmm. It was always bull. It was always, you know, yeah, you can get in, but you got to do this, this, and this, you know.
Right, but the part of that coming to that understanding was also being exposed to those things in a way where we were able to be woken up in a sense and see it differently. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's kind of why the point of like talking about this stuff and exposing a lot of this stuff is because there's certain people that need that spark to even be snapped out of whatever spell they're under to then go deeper. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like sometimes when you just say, you know, it's it's just Jesus. You know what I mean? Like that goes over people's heads. They just totally lose you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
sometimes it's important to have these conversations in a way where it's like, no, this is how you're being manipulated on a daily basis through the normal things that you have just accepted as, you know, normal shit that happens in life.
Right.
You know, and once you're aware of that and you want to know how to then move past it, then that's all right. This is how you do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You have to.
Right.
You have to bring the solution.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to bring the solution.
Like,
right.
and that's the difference, because it's like you can't try to do it yourself. You can't try to. Well, how are we gonna do this? Let's meet about it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
how are we gonna
Right.
overcome this?
Right.
I wanted to read,
But
this.
there is things that you can say. How do I do this? And there is things that you can do, like foundational things that will line you back up in the right ways. Where it's like, all right, let me stop watching all these trash TV shows. Let me stop eating whatever people put in front of me. Let me stop being, you know, drawn into things that I don't even know why I like them. You know, let me stop
Right.
caring about wearing Jordans. Let me stop.
Yeah.
Like, let me
clean up my house.
Yeah.
But
let me
you
be a good husband. Let me be a good father. Let me
Well, that's-
focus on my family.
That's,
You know what I mean?
That's a little difference, because that's my, like, you can clean up your house, but it's gonna come back and hit you harder. You have to receive. You need that solution now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Before, like, you have to come to something, because if you see all these things, yeah, you can try to be a better person, and it might work for a little while, but it's gonna come back,
Right.
and hit you harder.
Right. The only way to stay disciplined is to change. It's a life-changing thing. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's just like what they say about diet. You know, we were just talking about that earlier. You know, a diet's not gonna work for you if it's not a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
If you just think you're gonna go on a insert diet name here for 6 months and you're gonna be skinny and sexy again and your life is gonna change, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to fully commit to what I've been doing is death,
Yeah.
and I need to turn away from that and change my life, and then seek out how to eat healthy now. Seek out how to live healthy now.
Yeah.
And that's the metaphor for what you're saying. It's like
Yeah.
you have to then seek out the solution, seek out the past that you've been basically just ignoring.
Yeah. And the truth is literally, like, the truth is ultimately in heavenly places, in God, in Jesus.
Well, that's the beauty of what I think what we're saying is, like, if you, and I think on any of those paths, like in any part of your life, if you reach a point where it's like, all right, I've come to the realization that I've been being lied to, or I've been deceived, or I've been, you know, totally wrong about shit. Now it's time for me to seek the truth in this, even if it's in this one thing. That eventually will lead you, if you stay,
Yeah.
that will eventually lead you to more truth. You know what I mean? Which will,
The truth.
because it's all under the truth, right?
Yeah. And it's literally just,
That's what the truth will set you. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, when you're saying these things that we've been hearing all the time at church, and people hear it and they're just like, okay, the truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what the truth shall set you free means. When
Yeah.
you start on that path to say, well, let me seek out what the truth is. Let me not just listen to what people are telling me all the time about whatever it is. Let me seek it out for myself.
yeah.
That's what sets you free.
What is the ultimate truth?
That's what sets you
And
free.
it'll lead you to him. Like,
Right.
that's the point. Like, if you truly want to seek it out and then you don't stop,
Right.
you're going to find him.
Right.
You know, you will eventually find him. I want to read this because it kind of like speaks on everything we've been saying, right? It's Psalms 2. And it says, why do the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bonds in pieces and cast away their cords from us. So you see, like, this whole plot. Like, let's get together. Let's figure out how to control things.
Right.
Let's figure out how to keep them subjugated so that they don't realize who they really are.
Mhm.
You know. And then it says, he who sits in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall hold them in derision. Then he shall speak to them in his wrath and distress them in his deep displeasure. Yet I have set my king on my holy hill. I will declare the decree. The Lord has said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance, and the ends of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them to pieces like the potter's vessel. And again, like, what are the nations? The nations are going after what they want to go after, right? The nations became nations because of the Tower of Babel.
Right.
And then God changed the language. So they became their own nations.
Right.
But it was because they went after their own thing. But then what happened? He told Abraham to come out of your father's house and set him apart, and through him came Israel. Right. So the point of this is God sets apart a portion, and he always sets somebody apart for the whole. Like, it's not, you know how it says a little leaven will leaven the whole, right? But his leaven leavens the whole too. Like, it goes both ways. And that's kind of what we were talking about too. Like, all you need is a little leaven, a little bit of dissent, a little bit of mistrust, and it can destroy everything, right? But at the same time, all you need is one, like Jesus, one. All you need is one man to come in and bring things back into order. You know, through Israel, this is what happened. It was set apart. So then it says, now therefore be wise, O kings, and be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish in the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are those who trust in him. So that's the key. Blessed are those who trust in him. So if you want to receive the blessings, you have to trust him. And that's what we're learning. So going back to it, it's like learning despite everything, you can't, just because you don't see it. And what is faith? Faith is the evidence of things hoped for, right? Right? So it's also, it's the, why is this like, it's the substance of things hoped for. That's what
the evidence of things not seen.
Yeah. So it's the substance of things hoped for, right?
Yeah.
But it's not there. It's
Right.
the evidence of things not seen, but it's not in front of you, right?
Right.
So it's what you hope for because you've seen who he is, right? You've seen him for who he really is,
Right.
right? And that's the milk, like what we were talking about. Like, that's like when you're a babe, you're drinking this milk. But but think about this. Like, the meat, you know how it says when you're full grown, you eat meat, right? You can't eat the meat unless you sacrifice that animal. Like, the milk comes from the teat. Like, you can take that all day, but you're going to have to sacrifice that animal to eat that meat. And it's about us sacrificing ourselves and what we want so that we can come into
Sacrificing the beast.
sacrificing the
beast,
beast, right? So that we can come into the true blessings and trust him. But through that trusting, he's going to tell us, all right, this is what I want you to do.
Right.
This is what I want you to sacrifice. And you're like, that's the fight.
And it's,
like,
it's always letting go a part of that carnal thing that has become such a part of you that it's like wrapped in your identity. Your identity's intertwined with it. And it's like you have to find a way to sacrifice that from you.
And it's learning. So it's learning
Right.
how to trust him.
Right.
And like, so you're going to go through this mourning period. You know what I mean?
Right.
This point where you like,
And that's
you gotta
that
let
was
it
the
go.
difference between Cain and Abel in that whole story, was that and it wasn't like, because people misconstrue that with like, oh, Abel sacrificed fruit and vegetables, and Abel sacrificed meat and Cain sacrificed fruits and vegetables, so God saw the meat more. It was about, no, Abel's sacrifice showed that he trusted God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Cain's didn't. So that's why he, didn't receive
Yeah.
what Abel did. And then and it showed in his reaction. You know what I mean?
And and it's the same thing with the prodigal son.
Right.
The son who was there, and he's like, "You're giving
I've
him
been here
this.
the whole time. Yeah.
You sacrificed like I've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
How are you giving him all that?
Right.
You're not seeing it in the right way.
Right. You're not seeing it the right way. You're seeing it as like, yeah, you've been here the whole time. Like
Yeah.
he's been out there, going through whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what people do. Like, that's the mentality.
Right.
That's the flesh. Like, that's what, when it says, like, to produce, you're going to produce to the flesh or you're
Yeah.
going to produce to the spirit, right? If you want to produce fruit of the spirit, which is the power and the strength of God, right? It comes from the throne. That's the wealth. That's the treasure. You're going to have to deny that flesh, right? You're going to have to deny the things that you want to do, right? And it's that manipulation. Well, if I do this and this and this, then I'm good, right? Well, so many people, they'll be like, they call it faithful, right? I'll tithe every week. I'll do everything. I'm in church every week.
Yeah.
I'm doing it all right. You get what I'm saying? But
every
they're not,
Wednesday, every Sunday.
right?
Right.
But they're not giving their heart.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not going deep.
Right.
They're not really. They're just thinking, if I do all these things, I'm good.
Right.
And you're disqualified because you're not. There's no magical way in. There's only the way through Jesus.
Well, that was the part where the scripture that Mom was talking about. Where it says, "Depart from me."
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah.
Because that's literally
Well,
what he's talking about.
People don't know what you're talking about.
When the person goes to him and says, "Well, didn't I do this in your name?
Didn't I
prophesy in your name?
Yeah.
Didn't I cast out demons in your name or whatever?" And he says, "Depart from me, I did not know you."
Yeah.
Because it's like you did those things so that you could just say that at this point, I'm good. I should be good. Like,
Right.
look at all the things I did to get in here.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was good. It's like, but you did that to make yourself good. You didn't do that because of the relationship. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And that's what you hit it on the head. Like, you did that to make yourself good.
Right.
To make yourself comfortable.
Right.
That's not receiving his comfort. Like, you're not coming away from anything. Like, how do I know how to be kind?
Right.
I'm doing it out of myself.
Mm-hmm.
No, my sacrifice shows me his kindness. You know what I mean? Like, I'm laying it down so I can come into his kindness.
Right.
How to come in. I got to be patient. I got to produce that fruit of patience. You know what I mean? Like, no, he's the one who does it.
Fruit of patience.
It's just those churchy things you hear all the time.
It's the churchy things.
Yeah.
And none of that matters. And the funny thing is, when God really speaks to people don't want to hear it most of the time.
Right.
In Young Lion, at the end, it's nobody wants to hear the sound of the lion. Because when the lion's roaring, the lion's coming to devour.
Right.
And what's he devouring? He's devouring flesh. He's coming to eat flesh. Your flesh, the thing that should not be there. Right?
What's the line in the song? Devouring kingdoms of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's hard to let go of what you know.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
What did Jesus say? Depart from me, I never knew you. It's hard to let go of what you don't know.
Right.
You're trying to hold on to what you know because you're comfortable with it and because that's what got you through your life and you survived.
Right.
But God's saying, I don't want you to survive. I want you to come alive. You know what I mean? I want you to be reborn with me. And that's never going to happen if you're holding on to the dead thing that you're trying to survive with.
Right.
You're going to die. What did he say? You want to eat that? You're going to die. You're going to die.
Right.
You
will surely die.
Right. So now Jesus came that we might bring us back into that life. And that's the place we're in. And I don't think there's any way, like, if you can show me another way then I'll do it. But I don't see any
Another
other
way for what?
to overcome all the issues and all these things that seem so unbearable in this world. You know, just like climate change, like it's a fear tactic.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been used for decades now.
Right. But
using the
Did we ever show that
what-
picture that you sent with all the time?
I think
Was
we
it
did.
the-
I think we did last week or the week before. We showed all the Time magazines, how it's
Yeah.
changed, how it's always been something
Yeah.
else that they use
What was
as
the
a fear
first one?
tactic.
That was like 1940 or
No, it was
something?
like 1970.
It was like in
I
the
think.
70s,
Yeah, it was talking about the big freeze. Was supposed to be like entering into an ice age,
Right.
being ready for an ice age, and then it became. There was so many things over the years. I remember
Yeah.
acid rain and the ozone layer. Remember they used to say aerosol cans were destroying the ozone, and that was a huge thing. They were saying like by the year 2000 we weren't going to be able to go out in the sun because the ozone. It's always something. They use these fear tactics to. I think it's like I was watching something and they broke it down how like. They've always controlled the masses, and especially in this country, by creating a boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
And there always has to be a boogeyman to get people to
move.
agree to wars, give up their rights on certain things, like just give up money to the government, taxes, all this stuff. Like Jake was saying, the Great Depression came out of that because they convinced people of this boogeyman that they needed to give up all their gold and all this stuff. And once they did that, then they could centralize the banking. And then the boogeyman became Russia and nuclear weapons and, the space race. And the problem with something like that is that once the Soviet Union fell apart, they lost that boogeyman. Mm-hmm. So then they got really smart when they started realizing they can use like the world as like the fear tactic. It's like we have to save the planet.
Yeah.
First it was like overpopulation.
Yeah. I was just telling I don't know if y'all were both here, but see if you can find this, Rage, because we've been hearing, how many times have we been hearing over the last 10, 15 years that the world is overpopulated? I remember, I want to show something before we show this. So before we show this, see if you can find Bill Gates giving his TED talk about how we need to get the population down to, and he literally talks about like how we need to decrease the population.
Mm-hmm. By eating babies.
I know that's another hilarious thing. We have to eat the babies. Her face through that whole thing was hilarious.
Yeah. She did not know what to do.
If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, last week, doesn't it seem like everything happens right after we do the podcast? Like all of the good stuff happens Wednesday through Saturday. It's like we miss everything doing this on Tuesdays. But AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was at some town hall or something, and some lady came in there and trolled her, and basically was like, got on the, when it was time to like ask questions, she got on there and was like, I know you support the Green New Deal, but it's not working fast enough. The only solution is we have to eat the babies. We have to kill all the babies. And her face was just like, because she lives in that world where she doesn't know if this woman is really a fan, really a leftist. Like, she doesn't know if she's being trolled. Yeah. So she can't react in a way where it's like, I can't just say, get this crazy lady out of here, which is something that I would respect, you know what I mean? But instead she's like, oh, no, okay, no. So, yes, we have to do something. Like, it's like, yo, you can't even condemn eating babies, bro. Right. You can't even just say, how about we don't eat babies?
That's cannibalism.
You can't just say that. Not only is it cannibalism, it's babies.
It's crazy.
Well, they don't care about babies.
It's crazy.
That's true.
And everybody's just sitting there like,
couple questions that we've actually received since we started the webcast.
Okay,
First
this isn't it.
is on
But maybe he
population
talks
growth.
about it
The question
here.
is, one of our most pressing issues is population growth. How do you expect this to be addressed?
Well, the population growth issue at the global level is not that daunting. That is, the population percentage-wise is growing slower today than in the past, and so it will actually peak out. The problem is that the population is growing the fastest where people are less able to deal with it. So it's in the very poorest
When is this from?
places that you're going to have a tripling in population by 2050.
This is totally
And so their
different than
ability
what
to feed
he was saying before. Crazy.
So
It-
there's a TED Talk, but it's 30 minutes long.
the TED Talk is the one.
So I don't know, where that
There's
section
definitely
is.
got to be a clip of it because I know all of the weirdo like Illuminati people have chopped that thing up.
This clip I just played is from. Oh, okay, yeah, this is from 7 years ago. But that's the first thing that comes up. Bill Gates'
To
population.
be honest
Okay.
with you, it's so hard to find clips like that now.
Oh
because of
yeah, YouTube has changed.
Because-
It's
all
not
the-
right. Yeah, it's
They're
not
trying
like,
to change history now. They don't. They're
Yeah.
the
they're
TED
they're-
Talk is not chopped up like that on YouTube.
okay.
It's so bad. Like I was trying to research stuff, dude. It's not the same. It's not the same YouTube.
Dude,
anymore.
if you go on Jeffrey Epstein's Wikipedia page, they totally removed Bill Clinton. Like they totally
Wow.
changed his history to like not even mention certain things now. Like it's crazy, dude.
So, Laurie Gonzalez said you aren't dismissing climate change, are you?
No, listen. This is the thing.
So we're gonna answer.
First of all, there is no such thing as dismissing climate change. Like people always use that as a talking point to try to dismiss the conversation on climate change. Like climate change, the climate is going to change. You know what I mean? Like climate change and the science on whether or not humans are affecting it at a rapid pace is still unclear at best. You know what I mean? Like the whole I watched the whole documentary on where that whole thing started with the 97% of the scientists agree that humans have negatively affected climate change. They broke that thing down to in such a way where that shit is
10,000 scientists.
no, not even. You know how many scientists it was?
How many?
1,300 scientists
Wow.
that they surveyed for that thing. And most of them weren't even climate scientists. They were just scientists. And on top of that, it was the way they said it was they said the in the questionnaire it was, do you think humans have an impact on climate? Like that's so vague. Like if they said, is it negatively affecting the climate or is it affecting it in a way that's detrimental to the climate? Like then it would be something that you could answer a different way. But it was just like, do you think humans have an impact on climate? That's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like most scientists are going to say probably. You know what I mean? Probably
Yeah.
humans have an impact on science. So I mean on the climate. So
I mean, common sense would say
Yeah.
because we. You know,
but the dude that did that survey and published it wasn't a scientist. He was a cartoonist that put this thing together with a bunch of other people. It's so deep in wizardry and so deep into like just latched onto by the mainstream to basically get people in that same state of fear that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that like when you really look into that particular study, it's so ridiculous that that's what they're using. You know what I mean? So when people say that the science is settled, don't fall for that shit. The science on anything is never settled. There's no such thing as settled science. You know what I mean?
Laurie said yes. No. B. What does that mean? Bye.
I don't know. I don't know.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. So when people say, you're a climate denier, it's just like all of these terms that people try to use.
Yeah, even the CO2 thing, like.
But that's what the whole study's about: CO2 emissions.
Yeah. But that's not like.
Yeah, carbon dioxide is what plants use for food.
Yeah. Well, it just became this whole thing that's been blown so out of proportion, and nonsensical.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is it's a fear tactic.
Right.
And when something like, and I get it for people, like a lot of people, like they don't, but you can't see, like, it doesn't even have to do with, you can't see that how somebody can say something to try to manipulate you, to try to get you to move in a certain direction. And you think people are just going to be genuine in what they say and what they do?
Yeah.
No, they're going to try. How many things have been manipulated? You have
Everything.
You have nutrition was manipulated. Again, cigarettes.
Yeah.
All the studies on nutrition, all the
Sugar.
studies.
Yeah, sugar.
Well, that's
Yeah.
They used
But
to
that was the
they pushed
nutrition
that
and
cereal.
the heart thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Fat was demonized.
Right.
Yeah.
And it all was bullcrap to sell. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to sell what they need to sell to you so you can buy it. Right? Why don't they want you to buy it?
So they can make money.
So they can control
So they
you.
can control.
And that's the key. They want to control the outcome. How can I control the outcome of a situation so I can prosper the most out of it and come out on top?
Mm.
And that's what it is every time. They're fear tactics. And people who just go and they accept everything, you're part of the problem. What are you looking at, Jimmy?
I'm looking for this.
Rising,
Okay.
falling all the way to zero. This equation has four factors.
I found it. Okay. I'm going to send this to
With the
you,
Bill
Rich.
Gates
Yeah.
TED Talk.
Yeah. Because I want to show this the contrast, because this goes into what we're talking about how like the narrative keeps changing on what we need to be afraid of. 20.
What did they say? We have only a couple months or something like that.
Well, that's what she said.
That's what the troll lady said.
The baby eater.
What was
said.
it? 10 years now.
Okay, it should be up there now.
Baby.
Yeah, but I mean, the funny thing is she quoted that Swedish doctor who talked about how we need to start eating humans to fight climate change.
Mm.
Like that was a real thing.
Yeah.
She was serious about that.
Yeah, that really happened. Like dude said, we need to start thinking about, because the meat consumption is out of control and we're wasting all of the protein from dead bodies. Like this crazy ridiculousness.
Wow.
So this is the full clip. You just want me to play it from the beginning?
Yeah, you could just play it from the beginning because he breaks down. I'm pretty sure.
The safety.
Okay, no, this is not the clip. This is something else. Never mind. Don't even play it. Yo, they really tried to remove this clip from YouTube. Anyway, there was a TED Talk where Bill Gates goes into saying how we need to get the population down drastically from 7 billion people to some astronomically low number in order to save the planet. And you could see in that clip that you just played, though, that he was changing that whole story, that whole narrative at that point. And then, so let me see, Elon Musk. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see if you can find Elon Musk talking about population collapse. Because I just saw something where Elon Musk was just talking at some convention about how the population is in trouble for collapse right now.
I'm worried about the birth rate, which you alluded to earlier. The contrary to, like most people think we have like too many people on the planet, but actually this is an outdated view. This is assuming that AI is fine, assuming that there's a benevolent future with AI. I think that the biggest problem the world will face in 20 years is population collapse. Collapse. I want to emphasize this.
I agree.
The biggest issue in 20 years will be population collapse. not explosion, collapse. It's very easy to see what the world will look like in 20 years because humans have a 20-year boot sequence. So like you say, okay, well, who was born last year? Okay, now you know what the world looked like in 20 years. It's that easy.
I absolutely agree with that. The population problem is going to be facing huge challenge. 1.4 billion people in China sounds a lot, but I think next 20 years we'll see this thing will bring big trouble to China, and the population decreasing of the whole, the speed of
I thought the same thing.
is going to speed up. And you call it collapse. I agree with
Accelerating
that.
collapse.
It's collapse.
Accelerating collapse.
Okay. Yeah, you get the point. So how quick did the narrative change to now you got Elon Musk talking about a population collapse within the next 20 years? So what is the move now? Now they're going to try to but his whole agenda is pushing the idea of AI and integrating humans with technology. So maybe he's trying to use that concept in people's brains like, oh, we need robots then. You know what I mean? Like there's not enough people. Because how could everyone, if we're already saying there's not enough resources for the humans that are going to be here, how can you possibly make sense of wanting to add robots to that equation? Everyone having a robot, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so maybe that's where he's coming from, where the narrative needs to switch for him. So he's going to be pushing that with his scientist friends that, population collapse is the new thing.
Right.
I just want to point out that Kathleen was in the chat. She said that she saw the clip that we were talking about with Bill Gates, and she can't find it either. It's crazy how they're purging the internet of a lot of this stuff, man.
It's hard to find a lot of stuff now.
They're really trying to change information, and that's what people don't understand. Like that's where the war is. That's where the battle is. It's like it's for your own way of thinking.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's this whole subversion tactic, and it's done through movies, through Hollywood. You see these little, like you ever watch a lot of the movies are broken down by this dude. He's got this YouTube channel called Black Pilled. You ever watch him?
Yeah.
He does a great job. That's what me and James were talking about with the Time Machine, how they released the two different versions. They both had they're both based off the same book, but they're clearly trying to push two different agendas. He breaks down Forrest Gump. He breaks down like Stepford Wives, like all these movies that people watch that are implanting these ideas, like how the Stepford Wives movie came out in the 70s. And it was literally inputting the idea into women's minds that like being a normal housewife who just wants to be a housewife, taking care of her family, stay at home, take care of kids, have a nice house, husband goes to work, like that lifestyle is akin to being a robot, and you couldn't possibly be happy with that life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that life is just holding you back from your potential to be a star and be, this amazing person.
Yeah.
And you see that even with like we talk about Sex and the City all the time and shows like that glorify a certain lifestyle to women. That's, in a sense, it could be.
Why is that demonized? Though, like,
well, again,
just
it has
Tim Pool actually got into an issue with that because he talked about that. He has a busy lifestyle. He works like 14, 16 hours doing videos and stuff like that, and he would like to have somebody on the other side to take care of home or take care of the kids if they have kids. And the social justice warriors, they came at him and they attacked him for saying that.
But the funny thing is they all were attacking his looks and saying like they were saying stuff like, oh great, so Tim Pool doesn't want to will never want to marry me. I guess I'm lucky. Or it's like, like stuff like little cheap shots like that. Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
Like, because the point he was making was, if I'm a successful person and I'm looking for someone who's going to be a partner in life, I'm going to want someone who I can build a family with. I don't want someone who I'm never going to see. And we can't, like, if we have kids, it's the nanny's taking care of them and we never see them. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, you think about it, like, you got to go even back further, because when you have like all the shows that happened in the 50s and
Right.
60s, where it was like cookie cutter
Mhm.
wives that wear the nicest dresses, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they do everything perfectly.
Right.
That's where the Stepford Wives now come from.
Right.
Like it's
You
fake,
have to set
know?
up that's the thesis and the antithesis right there.
Right.
So it's
then
like
you
we set
have-
up the thesis, we show you this life of like this perfect family, and then we tear that down by telling you you're not really happy.
Right.
And it's easy to tear that down because you can just put that idea in your mind. Like, have you ever felt not happy?
Yeah.
Everyone can point to a time. So it's like,
Have you ever felt like you haven't lived up?
yeah.
You know, just
have you ever
little
felt
things,
like you wish you could have lived your life, or you ever felt like you see someone on TV living this fabulous life, and it's just like what social media is now. It's that idea of like you're seeing someone live this amazing life, and you want that, but it's an illusion. A lot of these people aren't even happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that we got to see behind the door of. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Like being in the music business and realizing that.
And this is before social media.
Right. No, we saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
So it was like we got to see that and say like, all right, is it really worth it to just give up on all the things you believe in and totally compromise yourself and your identity and to attain these things that aren't guaranteed to make you feel fulfilled or happy anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to have like those foundational things.
Right.
That it's like that'll make you second guess, because that's the lie that gets put in your head through these things that get put on TV, and,
right?
Or in social media, or whatever, and then those become our dreams,
yeah,
quote unquote
dreams,
and then we go after them, and then kind of like what's the not Borat, but the one
Bruno,
yeah, with the like they get so caught up in the dream.
We got flagged for that clip, by the way.
Really?
What, on YouTube?
Oh no, on Facebook when we showed that.
So they get caught up in their dreams that they're so concerned with like, okay, I'm here, I'm in the seat, so now it's like whatever I need to do, I guess I'm gonna do it because I'm here. Mm-hmm. That's when you're so consumed by the idea of something, and when you
my way, yo.
even when it's like obvious in your face, like yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Mm-hmm. People will do it because the idea or the idea that's been implanted in you supersedes your morals.
Mm-hmm.
Your values.
Right.
It's still crazy. You give liposuction to your 5-year-old baby or 2-year-old. How old was the baby?
3 years old.
Either way.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll give liposuction to your 3-year-old, but dismissing climate change is where you draw the line. Yeah. Yeah.
People don't even want to talk about it. Laurie left.
Good.
Hilarious.
But yeah, that I saw that with Elon Musk, and I was just like, yo, what is going on? Like, when did this change? That's all I've been hearing is about like the population is out of control, and there's not enough resources. There's not going to be enough. People are going to starve. You know what I mean? Like now, all of a sudden, it's population collapse.
Yeah. Then there's too many cows and CO2. Like
yeah,
there's so much misinformation.
Right.
What are you gonna do? Like, look at how it's being so polarized. Like the news. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta trust in something, and they're not giving. You can't trust in what nobody's saying.
Right. Because you like I said, even with that climate change study, like when I first heard that study, I was like, oh man, 97% of scientists Like that's got to be like 30,000 people. You know,
Right.
but on the contrary, there was a study done by 30,000 scientists that totally like went against that study, and we're like, no, we don't agree. This study is bullshit. We don't agree with this.
Right.
But you never hear about that one, because it doesn't go along with the narrative. So when you get someone like a Laurie who's like, don't tell me you guys are dismissing climate change. It's like, have you ever looked into it though, Laurie? Like, do you know why you support it? Do you even know? Or is it just something that you heard from someone or you've been hearing multiple times and you think that I have to be on board with this or else I'm not as virtuous? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not a part of the club, the team.
Yeah.
So
I think it was Hitler who said, like, spoke about propaganda and how it's the key to
Right.
controlling people.
right,
All you got to do is put it in front of them enough, and eventually you'll control them.
right.
That's
Show
what
it to
he
them.
did.
Just show people stuff and over again until it becomes the truth. You know what I mean? They won't even they won't even take the time to look into it. They won't even take the time to do the due diligence. They'll just go along with the masses, you know.
You ever like back in the day? I know this happened to me a lot. I would hate a song, like if you listen to the radio.
Yeah.
I would hate a song.
Yeah.
And then you would just hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it because they're playing it.
Right.
And then you catch yourself singing it. I'm like, why the hell am I singing this
Because
song?
you've been programmed. That's what it is, man. And it happens to all of us.
If you think about it, to know somebody, to know something, you become attracted to it. You know what I'm saying? The more you interact with somebody, the more
Right.
you begin to know. Like, it's kind of like at first you weren't attracted to somebody, right? You don't think they're attractive, looks wise or anything, but the more you're around them, you get to know them. You
right.
become
The
more
idea of,
attracted
oh,
to
they
them.
grew on me. Yeah.
Yeah. But that happens with things too, you know, songs.
Movies.
And yeah, so that's the programming that we're in this world.
Right.
Think about that like all the time. And then, so you have Jesus like, I never knew you.
Right.
You know, we don't give time to that, and we're wondering why we don't see stuff happen in our lives.
Right.
You know what I mean? That line up with, if we want to believe it don't line up with that, it's because we don't want to get to know him.
Right.
You know, and we become attached and attracted to the wrong things in our life that we want to hold on to because we think it's cute. You know, I was just in a situation where I want to put people on blast, but just let me just say this, like having little kids being in a room where you think it's all right to play the worst songs ever, like talking about sex, with
Right.
all kinds of stuff that it's like, how do you not see that this is a problem? You know, and thinking it's cute because they're singing the songs.
Right.
There's nothing cute about that,
Right.
but it's cute to you because you're attracted to that because it's normal and familiar to you. And if I say something about it, you're overreacting.
But
You
isn't
know,
that the same thing that the woman that you say, yo, why would you tell him that you would give your daughter liposuction? Same thing.
Yeah.
You're just overreacting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because you become attracted to it.
Right.
It becomes natural to
Right.
you. You know, you become familiar with it. That's what you know.
Yeah.
Think
What's
we're
up?
done?
I guess so. Yeah, we can leave it there. It's been about 2 hours. Cool. So, yeah, that was some good stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't leave on us, but maybe we had people popping in and out. It's all good. So we appreciate you guys watching. I want to say what's up to everybody who was listening to the conversation, everyone in the chats. Again, if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you like what we're talking about, if you want to join into the conversation, if you want to give us any topics that you think we should touch on, anything's happening in the news or anything that you want to hear us talk about. Yeah, let's I wanted to talk about the Amber Geiger thing that everyone's been talking about. The cop that we touched on it last week. I wanted to see what y'all thought about that, because everyone is like, you know.
I saw a meme that kind of bothered me, and I took a picture of it. Let me see if I
There
can
was
send
some
it.
weird stuff going on in that like sentencing thing, like some weird like.
What you mean?
Just like the way the prison guard, I mean the court guard and the judge was like being overly affectionate to her,
Yeah, hugging her.
Yeah, like I understood the judge thing was a little bit different because a lot of people were upset about that, which I agree. Like a judge shouldn't be hugging anybody in the courtroom because it's like, you know, it's unprofessional. You know, but because the judge hugged the victim's family, and then, you know, Amber wanted a hug too, so she kind of like reluctantly gave her a hug. But then she gave her a Bible too, you know what I mean? And people kind of took that and said like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of weird. And then like, did you see the video of like the prison guard brushing her hair and stuff? Like,
No, I didn't see none
it was
of
just
that.
like this weird, you know how people always talk about like
Can we pull that up?
how people talk about how like young blonde white women seem to be like a crying young blonde white woman is like one of the like most, I don't know, like it's one of the hardest things for people to see, you know what I mean? So like it seemed like everyone was catering to her while she was getting sentenced for killing this dude. What?
It's never affected me. Maybe I'm just not cut from that cloth. But like a crying blonde girl, I'm like, you did something.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
It was like Patrice O'Neal with the Natalie Holloway joke. You know what I mean? Like we talked about this before. So Patrice O'Neal was on stage and he hits the audience with like, yeah, because remember when Jordan Vandersloot, he killed that white girl in the Bahamas. What was her name again? And everybody was like, Natalie Holloway. And he was like, yes, Natalie Holloway, that's right. But the other day, he just killed this other girl from South America. And it got real quiet. He was like, exactly. It's like, no one remembers her name. Like, what was that big-headed bitch's name? Probably something weird like Yordis or something.
Yeah, but that was way more. I mean, it was probably because it was.
But what he's saying is that got way more publicity.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she was a young blonde white girl. You know what I mean? Nope. And, you know, the story comes out. They're like, what was she doing? You know, like, she was out there wilding. You know what I mean? But she didn't deserve to die. But he was just making the point that, like, no one cares about the other. Because I think he killed, like, 3 women. Like, when it was all said and done. But.
Well, who were the other 2?
I just remember that one girl was from South America. I don't remember all of them, but
yeah, I just remember the 2.
Yeah, but yeah, it was funny because like he set up the audience and they could not think of her name, and he was like, "That's right." He was like, "See how quick y'all said that the girl's name? You sung it out like it was Natalie." That beautiful angel. he was going on.
I mean, I did think that the brother who, you know, said what he said to her, that was very.
Yeah, I thought that was big of him too. Like, but a lot of people were mad about that.
Yeah, because a lot of people got a lot of hurt inside, and you know,
that's what I think. Like a lot of people feel like him doing that took away their ability to be angry still, because they want to be mad that she only got 10 years.
Yeah,
they want to.
They were really mad.
That she's a white lady.
I'm
yeah,
a white cop. Yeah,
but that's what I was saying. I was saying like, but the fact that she's white and a cop doesn't mean she has to pay for all of the wrongings of all of the white cops that have killed unarmed black. Like her situation's different. Like, yeah, she was neglectful, but it was more of a mistake situation.
Yeah, it was. I mean, come on, like she was definitely.
Can't find it.
No,
she was definitely.
I didn't see any.
There's a lot of like. There's many hug scene videos, but I don't want all the jargon that's going to go around.
Yeah. There was definitely like some video.
I'm looking for some pictures.
Like while they were giving her the sentence, and she was sitting there crying, the lady was like combing her hair, brushing her hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people were talking.
She
about,
was a
like,
guard. Like
yeah, like the bailiff or some shit. Yeah. See. You see, like people saw all that and were like, "Yo,
Just
what?"
a general feel of coddling.
Yeah, it's like, why are we? When does this ever happen?
Yeah.
And if that was, Boom Quisha from the Bronx, they would be like, they would not be doing that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Boom.
that's where people like saw that, and it just added fuel to the fire.
But my thing is
Yeah.
like, you can't read into everything.
But there is something to be said about the psychology
I mean,
of how we treat people different.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It
There
could
is.
be, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. You're giving life to something. You
Yeah,
don't need to give life to.
I agree. But that's what people are gonna do.
Like the Madden curse.
Yeah,
But that's why
They
people
give
stay
life
where
to the Madden
they're
curse.
at, and that's
Right.
why they stay bitter. You know what
right.
I mean, that's,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people are staying bitter because of they saw, her be treated
That's-
that way.
I want that sweet
You
fruit.
pull up that meme that I.
want that
So
bitter
all of that overshadowed the fact that he forgave her because it became like the judge giving her a hug, and the judge is under investigation now because of that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because like there's like what Rach?
The meme that I saw.
Are you gonna read it? Because I'm not.
I can't see that.
Only in America can a white woman get 10 years for murdering a black man in his own damn home. And only in America are Negroes so full of self-hate till they will find any lame and lethargic excuse to forgive whites who've soaked their blood in American soil for 460 years
Damn.
straight.
Yo, she did all that, son.
And you think about like whoever wrote that, they are so enraged with
Right.
bitterness and
But it's
anger.
like, yo, that's his. He chose to forgive her.
Yeah.
Like, why is it
Yeah.
got to be this whole coddling of
And
white
that was his
guilt
brother,
and, like,
right?
Yeah, that was his brother. Yo, but they're Haitian, right?
No, they're not. They're from St. Lucia.
St. Lucia, right?
Yeah.
I knew they were from the islands, right?
Same thing, Jamie.
Yeah, same thing. Listen, my wife's from Daddy, and I can make that joke. Yeah, they're all from. It's all the
not
same
the
shit.
same thing.
It's all the same shit. But did any part of y'all? Well, I don't know. Did y'all see the? Did y'all watch any of that?
I
Like
did
when he
not
was like,
watch
"Can
any
I?"
of it.
He gave his speech, and then he was like, "Can I give her a hug?"
Yeah.
So part of me was like, "Yo, he's setting her up. He's gonna get a piece of that hair, and he's gonna
put voodoo.
do some voodoo, bro." Yeah. Dude, I was like, "Yo, this is a setup. This is a setup." He's like, "I'll cloud it in forgiveness. I get a lock of that hair, go back to the tribe."
I did see memes like, "Can I give her a hug?" And then people were like, like
Yeah, nah. See, he went and got a piece of that hair. That's what they wasn't ready. They don't know about that voodoo life, bro. He went and got a lock of that hair. He's got it right. The elders have it right now, and they're putting together a spell on her.
The elders.
They're putting together a spell
The
on
witch
her.
doctor.
Listen. All I'm saying is, if 6 months from now, you see her like, spazzing out or doing something crazy, we
Driving
know
her
why.
own car off a bridge somewhere.
We all know
What?
why, right? Banging her head into the bars of her cell.
Right,
Yeah, we
yeah.
all know why. But yeah, I just wanted to get y'all opinion on that. Because it again happened right after our podcast.
Crazy mistake, though.
I don't know how much of a mistake. Like, I don't know, man. It's a very weird situation. They said that she was sexting somebody that she was cheating with at the time, so that's why she was distracted when she went into the house.
Yeah.
But they brought up like racist stuff in her, like racist stuff that she said in her Facebook, and like the way she handled it afterwards by calling someone from the department to find out what to do. Like, she didn't resuscitate the body. Like, there was a bunch of stuff that a lot of missteps that you could see she was trying to cover her tracks afterwards. That's what got her the murder conviction.
Yeah.
A lot of the racist stuff and a lot of the way she handled it. So to me, it was like I felt like justice was served that she got a murder conviction, because if it was really a mistake, they would have gave her manslaughter.
Right.
But the jury saw it as it was negligent enough that she should get convicted of murder. The scope that they gave the jury to give her sentencing was like 5 to 99 years, which is, how do you
That is so
narrow that down?
far.
But the prosecutor was asking for 28 years, but the jury was mostly black, and they are the ones that decided that the 28 years was too much.
These program blackies.
So I mean, like, I don't know, like, I just don't know.
Better hope they don't
like,
cut that clip.
What more do y'all want? She got convicted of murder. She got 10 years in prison. Like, what do you want?
They want 99 years, bro.
Dude,
That's-
it's
you
never
saw
gonna
the meme?
think about. It's never gonna be enough.
Right.
Like that's
even if she would have got
that's the
50 years
mentality.
and the judge hugged her and gave,
Still
and
a
it
problem.
still would have been
It just shows like when people are looking for something, got it.
Right.
Like, they're always gonna find.
and they don't
something.
want you to take it away.
Right.
So when he hit the like I said, the brother forgiving her and hugging her is like, how I can't be mad if he's not mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're taking this from me.
Yeah.
How could you?
So now I'm mad at you.
Yeah. Now I'm mad at you because you're a coon. You know. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a shame. And it's funny because what it does is it literally like it puts everybody again, like you group everybody, like everybody black.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like with the jury, like somebody's like, oh, these program blackie, like they're not a part of us.
What
like,
is what's the dude Tariq Nasheed call him? What does he call him?
I don't know. What does he call him?
He kept saying it in the one interview.
I don't know.
I forget the term he kept using, but it was something like Uncle Tom's. You know what I mean? When every time Andrew Schultz would bring up an example of like black people that are successful, he would call them something. You know?
Yeah.
Tokens.
Tokens,
He was calling them
okay.
tokens. So like, you know, they're tokens. You know, all those jurors are tokens.
Yeah, but look, see
they
what
were-
he's doing.
Yeah.
They allowed
He's-
them to.
Right. They allowed them.
He's dismissing it like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
doesn't
easy.
know the story.
Right.
Just dismiss.
Right, right.
But
Oh,
what
but
is
what
that?
about this? Oh no, that's tokens. Yeah. That's tokens. Yeah, they're allowed to have tokens.
And see,
Yeah, they let that happen.
like it's all pride.
Right,
It's all
right,
like
right.
he's so confident.
He's confident in it. Yeah.
So
Right.
it becomes this thing like, yeah, that's not my people.
Right.
You know, no, my people. They're a problem to my people.
Right.
Like that's every time. It just becomes like, yeah, that's just this. That's this. That's this. No, this is the real thing right here. And then you just hold on to what you want to hold on to. You hold on to the anger, and you become. It's funny because like a lot of those social, what do we talk about? Like they start creating crimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you become so enraged, you're not seeing stuff happen, and you want to make something happen.
I got to bring this up before we end, because along those lines, I just saw a story of this girl. She's like an Instagram person or a YouTuber, and she came out saying that she identifies as transgender. You know what I'm talking about? She identifies as transgender, but she's still attracted to men, but she's still a woman.
Okay.
Wrap your brain around that one if you can.
So-
She's still a woman,
Yeah, but that's the
but
point.
she identifies as transgender, and she's still attracted
I
to
think
men.
the money line was, do I identify as transgender?
1,000%.
1,000%. Do I also identify as the sex that I was born as?
1,000%.
1,000%. And the comments are like,
Yeah.
No.
Right. And they're like,
Is it a joke?
no.
No. She's like seriously, but they're saying that she's trying to capitalize off of the LGBTQ community, and she's a opportunist. So they're like pissed off. But it's like,
Wait. Did you see the Malik Yoba thing where he was interviewed by The Root?
yes,
Okay, so
I
yeah,
sent that
you
to
sent
y'all.
that.
Yeah.
The funny part was the guy who was interviewing him. The whole time he's like this, like just looking at him. Like,
Right.
Everything you say is bullshit.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, it
dude.
was funny. It was funny when he was like, everything, the longer you talk, the worse you look.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Malik Yoba didn't like
hot.
that shit
Yeah,
at
he was
all.
hot.
The Root is horrible though.
I never watched their
They're
stuff. I
horrible.
don't know. That was just
Like,
funny. You could tell though. You could tell that they were like setting him up.
Yeah,
You know what I
they're
mean?
horrible. Like they're so like pro-black, like anti everything else.
So that makes them horrible. They're pro-black.
Okay. I mean pro-black.
Damn, son.
Pro-black in the wrong way.
I know, but you was just
Like-
like, yo, they're so horrible. They're just pro-black. It's like,
I mean, being pro-black is not a good thing in terms of excluding everybody else, in my opinion. Because
right.
it's becoming like.
So does that make you pro-black or does that make you black?
I mean, to be pro-black, is-
Exclusively black, like you know what I
I
mean?
don't know, but it's. I don't know what you call it
Black-
because
black-
it's
black
all
nationalists?
it's all BS.
Black
to me.
separatists.
Separatists.
Yeah.
Black separatists.
That's a real thing.
Hey,
Yeah, but anyway, so this girl, she said she's something about like she has male penis envy or something like that.
Oh, did she?
I don't
Yeah.
know
I
what that
missed
means.
that
What
line.
does that?
Male genitalia envy.
Okay, penis envy is like an old school term that like I forget which. I don't know words anymore. I'm so tired.
They're jealous of penises.
I forget which psychologist said like women secretly just wish like metaphorically and physically in all the ways, right? Like they always have this kind of like envy, like, oh, okay, if I could only have
If
that.
I only had a penis for a day,
I
yeah.
could have the power.
Right.
So maybe she referenced that, but I didn't hear that. But that's a thing.
Yeah, she mentioned it in that way, and then she like posted a picture of herself like in a
Butched out.
in like not even butched out.
Just
she
more
was like
butch than
she was like
a glam
when
girl.
your girlfriend wears your clothes, like when a girlfriend
okay.
still like looks hot wearing her boyfriend's clothes. You know what I mean? Like that's how she was dressed. It was like so ridiculous. So she was like, you know, going on about how she's 1,000% identifies as a woman, but 1,000% transgender. Like did this whole spiel about it. But this is the thing, like when you set up this narrative, when you set up this ideology where it's like, yeah, nothing is based on like genetics, nothing's based on like science. It's just like, yo, how do you feel? You feel that way? Okay, yeah, we got to be accepting of how people feel and how they see themselves and we got to be inclusive. Like it's like when you start breaking that all down into how can you now tell her no? You can't. You can't.
yeah.
That's how she sees herself. Whatever that all meant, like however that web got tangled around in there, it lands on whatever she says, and you just got to go with it.
It makes no sense.
Of course.
And the other thing don't make no sense, and all of it don't make no sense.
Right.
But you can see.
They use science when they want to.
Yeah, like when climate change. 97,
How are you at the
97.
science denier?
They're trying to like try to finagle science into the transgender thing a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so hard to do that.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, there's definitely like in some of those gender studies, they're trying to like quote some scientists and you know bring stuff in.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes I feel like I like imagine that, you know how like in Job it talks about how like the devil basically went to God and was like, oh, you think Job is so dope, huh? All right, let's see. I bet you he's not. You know what I mean? And God was like, okay, well, I'll take you on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Job goes through all this crazy ass shit, and it's like he ends up better at the end of it. But and then you have the story of, I guess it's the assumption of Moses, which we really don't know, but they talk about it in Jude, where the devil goes to God to ask about what to do with Moses' body. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to what was the thing? Was it with Enoch where he tried to accuse? There's something about the devil goes to God to basically to. It seems like the devil goes to God to constantly be like, you created these people. Look how horrible they are.
He's a troll.
Yeah, he's a troll. He's a freaking troll. Yes.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think that like the devil is just like creating all of these things that we get all like this craziness that we're like seeing society turn into and people turn into, just so he could go to God and be like, look at him. This is the people you made. Look at this shit.
Would you look at that?
They're shooting rockets. They're fucking worshiping planets. Look at them. Look what they're doing. Now they're Scientologists over here. This one's a Mormon. Now you know what I mean. He's just like, trying to make us look bad to God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're just giving them fuel.
Yeah. It's just funny. Sometimes I think about it like that. Like, it's just like this. What if it's just like this big game between him and God, like this troll? Like, look at how terrible these people are. Because, like, isn't the story like the devil's always been jealous of the power that God gave man? You know what I mean?
And I think like the love,
Right.
like the
The
love
that
like
God gave.
Right.
yeah, like for us, like
why would you?
why would you
yeah.
ever love
Yeah.
that like disgusting
Yeah.
little, like shrimp that
Yeah.
crawls along the ground, basically.
Made them out of dust.
Right.
We're angels.
Yeah.
There's some hierarchy problems, some seniority
Yeah,
problems,
definitely.
issues.
Definitely some patriarchy issues there going on. Yeah, it's funny. But anyway, all right, let's end it there. Once again, guys, we're going to end this for real this time. So, patreon.com/YoungLionTV, Jatan.com to get the merch. What's up?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, to get the merch, Jatan.com. Also, check out for shows coming up and like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Birds.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people.